Remember the sound of snapping a flip phone shut to end a call? For a while, flip phones were everywhere. They were stylish, compact, and honestly felt futuristic at the time. Celebrities used them, movies made them look cool, and almost everyone wanted one. But then smartphones arrived, and suddenly flip phones seemed to disappear almost overnight. So what happened? Why did one of the most iconic phone designs ever made fall out of favor? Today, we're looking at the rise, fall, and unexpected return of the flip phone and how one of the most iconic gadgets ever made almost vanished completely, right here, on History of Simple Things. The flip phone actually started as a clever solution to a problem. Early mobile phones were bulky, awkward, and had exposed keypads that could accidentally press buttons inside your pocket. Engineers wanted phones to become smaller and more portable without sacrificing usability. One of the earliest famous flip phones was the Motorola StarTAC, released in 1996. At the time, it looked futuristic. Inspired partly by science fiction communicators from Star Trek, the StarTAC folded in half, making it compact enough to fit in a pocket. More importantly, it made mobile phones feel personal and stylish rather than industrial. Soon, flip phones exploded in popularity. Companies like Motorola, Samsung, LG, Sony Ericsson, Nokia, and Kyocera competed to make thinner, lighter, and more fashionable models. By the early 2000s, flip phones had become the standard design for mobile devices. And people loved them for practical reasons, too. The folding design protected the screen and keypad. Hanging up a call by snapping the phone shut felt satisfying. Battery life was excellent because the screens were small and simple. Many models could last several days on a single charge, something modern smartphone users can barely imagine today. By the mid-2000s, flip phones reached their peak. This was the era of the Motorola Razr V3, arguably the most iconic flip phone ever made. Released in 2004, the Razr was unbelievably thin for its time and had a sleek metallic design that made it feel premium and futuristic. The Razr became a global phenomenon. Millions were sold worldwide, and suddenly flip phones weren't just communication devices, they became fashion statements. Manufacturers also began experimenting with features. Phones gained cameras, music players, Bluetooth, internet browsing, and even basic games. Some flip phones had tiny external displays that showed notifications without opening the device. Others included sliding keyboards or rotating screens. For many people, this era represented the perfect balance. Phones were advanced enough to be useful, but simple enough not to dominate daily life. You used your phone when necessary, then put it away. Looking back, a lot of people now describe flip phones as the last era before phones became addictive. Everything changed in 2007 when Apple introduced the first iPhone. Instead of a physical keypad and small display, the iPhone focused almost entirely on a large touchscreen. At first, many people were skeptical. Physical buttons had always been important on phones, and touchscreens seemed fragile and impractical. But smartphones evolved rapidly. Soon, devices could browse the internet properly, run apps, stream videos, navigate with GPS, and function almost like miniature computers. Companies like Samsung and HTC quickly joined the smartphone race, and Android devices began flooding the market. This created a major problem for flip phones. Their design limited screen size. Since flip phones folded in half, there simply wasn't enough room for the large displays needed for modern apps and internet browsing. touchscreen smartphones offered a much richer experience for social media, gaming, photography, and web use. Consumers gradually shifted toward devices that could do more than just call and text. By the early 2010s, smartphones were becoming the new standard, and flip phones started disappearing from store shelves. The downfall of flip phones wasn't because people suddenly hated them. Technology simply moved in a different direction. Modern apps require larger screens and more processing power. Watching videos, using maps, replying to emails, and browsing websites all work better on flat touchscreen devices. Physical keypads and hinges also became disadvantages because they took up space and added mechanical complexity. Another issue was durability. Ironically, while flip phones protected their screens when closed, their hinges could wear out over time. Repeated opening and closing sometimes caused loose connections or broken cables inside the device. Manufacturers also realized that touchscreen phones were easier to design and upgrade. Without needing physical buttons, companies could focus on thinner devices with larger displays. As app stores exploded and social media became central to everyday life, flip phones started feeling outdated. By around 2013, most major manufacturers had largely abandoned them in favor of smartphones. But interestingly, flip phones never completely died. In recent years, companies started experimenting with foldable smartphones. Ironically, modern foldables borrow ideas from classic flip phones. Devices like the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip fold in half just like the old models, combining nostalgia with modern touchscreen technology. Even younger generations who never experienced the original flip phone era now see them as stylish and retro. What was once considered outdated suddenly became cool again. Flip phones disappeared because technology evolved faster than their design could handle. Smartphones offered larger screens, internet access, apps, and countless new features that consumers quickly embraced. The world shifted toward devices that could do everything in one place, but flip phones left a lasting mark on technology and culture. They represented a unique moment when phones were becoming personal, fashionable, and portable for the first time. And even today, people still remember the simple joy of flipping a phone open to answer a call or snapping it shut to end one dramatically. In a strange way, the flip phone never truly vanished. It simply evolved, folded itself into history, and then quietly found its way back again. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.